Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below this video. Now, we're currently in the interim stages between the two debates, so I'm going to hand over to the debating panel, open the mic on them, and their dulcet tones will keep you entertained while I set up for the second show.
Nathan Oakley, you know,
I actually had
like a technical side of them. I had no idea that he was an audio guy. And we talked about that.
Yeah, you guys got to jump on it, because if not, he never stops speaking. Sorry, Jonathan, it's true.
You like chocolate?
Shit out of everybody.
What were you going to say, chocolate?
No, I was gonna say I actually had a decent hangout with Timmy Osmond, and like, sure, yeah, we obviously weren't gonna agree on certain things, but we were decent to each other. We didn't call each other names, and it was actually cool. So before that, I hadn't had any experience with him, so I just heard that he was a troll and he's been around for a while, but that's pretty much it. I never really, you know, until he would show up on Nathan's. But yeah, I never had a problem with him. But yeah, we had a decent hangout. He wasn't bad. So,
Same as the other day, I had a decent discussion with Red Rhetorics and Tim over there. They were inviting people to debate, and I said I'll jump in to talk, and we chat for a little bit. They presented some evidence.
Jose dropped. I was gonna say that the goal of a propagandist is to get you to dehumanize another group of people, and I can see that in the flat Earth community, where like
I dropped
the ball Earth people and the flat Earth people kind of, not everyone, but some of them will treat each other. It's like they have one set of morality for if you're a ball earther, and then another set if you're a flat earther, because based on their whatever bias they are, and that's not right. Like, just because someone's a flat earther doesn't mean you can trust them, and just because someone's a ball earther doesn't mean they're the worst person in the world. You know, it's just
yeah, absolutely.
So I had really quick. I had a very productive conversation with them. We didn't agree or whatever. I said thank you for having me, and I'm out. You know, and they were very happy in the chat. Red was very happy with the interaction. Now, then they misrepresented me. Sean Hoffer.
Red's rhetoric.
But yeah, with him, I had a chat with him. It was pretty cool.
Fuck.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below this video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by The Plain Truth, Ranty Flat Earth, Physics Warrior, P. Mars, Jose, Jonathan, Eric, Daniel and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Yeah,
Hello.
thank you very much. Hello.
Hello. Good to have you. Nice big panel. Let's do some housekeeping. Any signs of curvature? Anybody on the panel?
No, Nathan, no curvature.
No.
No. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? Azranti's here.
No signs of that.
No.
Any evidence that we can have a gas pressure without a container for all those believers in outer space being a vacuum?
Definitely not. Nope. We're not seeing anything like that.
I don't know how that whole system works out with pressure, millibars, and all that nonsense. I don't really know who to go to with that information without being there myself. I'm looking at the balloon research. I think there's something there. I got to do more research on it. And it doesn't have to do with what you guys are talking about with the whole container thing and the pressure and all the vacuum and what they say. What they say is complete bullshit. So, yeah, I guess I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that as well. I mean, I'd love to know what was actually going on up there, and I make no assertions about what's going on up there. When people say, oh, prove your dome, I'm not making an assertion of a dome. I just know implicitly that the antecedent required for gas pressure is a container. And if you're to assert that it's pressing on a vacuum, then that defies the second law of thermodynamics. So, moving on. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Hell no.
Anybody? Anybody at all? Distance to the sun? Nobody?
No one's ever going to figure out the distance of the sun. That's for damn sure, man. That's one of my favorites, and it's not 93 million miles away. That's for sure.
Well,
I'm curious.
Isn't it like 3,000 miles if you triangulate it? Isn't that what people are saying?
No, the problem is it's like a rainbow. So if you move your position, so does the sun. So it's not like you can walk around it to triangulate it. It's not like a tree where it has a physical location and you can just walk around the tree. It's intangible. I don't know. I shouldn't be laughing so much. It's because I had that naive notion too when we did sun tracking, and I'm sure you were around about then, weren't you, Jonathan, when we did sun tracking?
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, I had that notion too, that we could actually do that until you try, and you come to one conclusion at the end. Everyone's looking at the same thing, it looks like, right? They're all in different positions, and they're all looking at the same thing, and it's not like they've walked around it in any way, shape, or form. They're all seeing the same thing happen. There we go.
Here's what I think about the distance. Even if we knew the distance, what would that... Has anyone thought about what that would change?
Well, I mean, you'd
have
had to have been to it. You'd have had to have gone there. You'd make it tangible in some form or another. But at the moment, with it not being tangible, then, you can't really give your distance. You just have to make it up and base it on R.
What would we even do with that information? Like, let's say someone could figure this out. I don't know how the hell they would go, but I don't think it's knowable. I don't think it's knowable.
Correct.
The distance to the sun, and I think it is not It's not really. It's kind of like vestigial body parts. We don't need them. It's information I don't think we really need for any purpose, because I can't think of a purpose like what we would do with a distance, like an actual like a measurement, and I don't know what it would change. I think.
Well, that's a question everybody's been asking lately. Is like, how would things change if or what's next if people started to see that the world was flat?
Well, it's a carefully loaded question. If they see that the Earth is flat, if they realise that it's not a globe, then the current rhetoric is a lie. They've been lied to. They've been deceived. They've been fooled. So most of the people that debate us do not want to accept that very thing. Therefore, they fight for the globe, because in acceptance that the globe isn't real, which it's not, they have to accept that what they've been told and taught was wrong. That's a hard pill to swallow for most people. It's easier to deceive somebody than it is to convince them that they have been deceived.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting that the sun is 93 million miles away, because 93 is a significant number in the occult world. The Thelema, which is a religion Aleister Crowley was a leader of for a while, they greet each other by saying 93, And then
It's
on
so far away
9/11
from what we were just talking about right now.
Well, no. We're looking at the origins. Pete's
No,
not
you're
asserting
talking
that is
about-
the distance. He's just saying that the
Right.
current rhetoric and its distance has an interesting number attached.
93.
Yeah, and on 9/11 they flew Flight 11 into the 93rd floor of the Twin Towers. So I mean, I believe that these people are into this numerology, and they believe numbers are significant, and when they do these events and things, they try and make these numbers match whatever they this desired outcome that they want for symbolic purposes or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool when numbers line up and stuff. I mean, when you're not trying, you get like 666s or something. That's cool.
But P-Mars, let me just entertain the question: is it 93 or 93 million? Because I see a lot of people giving, like, reaching sometimes. Like, how does that work out? Like, let's say that they set out to play. Like, how do you reverse engineer the whole numerology thing? We see it from the back end, whereas they plan this out, and they must choose which number they're going to use. So, and I'm not challenging you on this. I was just asking for my own curiosity, like how the fuck they. So,
well, I think numbers they represent an archetype, which is like it has
a symbol. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like in our subconscious they resonate with certain characteristics and so I think they understand our subconscious and how to kind of brainwash us and manipulate us, and they understand this stuff, and they put numbers out in news stories to trigger the desired subconscious reactions that they want.
Kind of see where you're going with that. Maybe 93 works with science.
One good example of this was the Virginia Tech shooting, where I was watching that. So it's 11, 22, and 33 are considered the master numbers in Freemasonry, and you'll see these a lot. And when I was watching the Virginia Tech shooting live on the news, I was living in New Zealand at the time. The first report, they go 11 people are dead, and then an hour later they report, oh, now 22 people are confirmed dead, and then the final tally was 33 people died. And I think that's, knowing what I know about numerology and watching that happen live, it just seemed like a pretty big coincidence, I guess. They're almost intentionally. I think they maybe just lie in the news reports about the numbers or something to trigger a psychological reaction from the audience. I think that's what's going on. I could be wrong. This is my theory.
Yeah, well, last time I was watching SpaceX, they were planning the next launch at like 16 hours and 16 minutes, right? And then right after he finished saying those two numbers, he said another 6, right after it. So he said 3 6s in a row. But whether someone's just putting that in there because they're just trying to be silly and put numbers together like a devil idiot.
666 does have a look to it, though. Am I the only person who sees this? It's the way they curl over and they kind of look like eyes. They almost look. 666 looks like an animal face in a way. I'm also part crazy, so I see this a lot in patterns and shit. It's my tryptophobia.
Yeah.
But certain numbers do have an animalistic appearance to them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
there's an
other
aggression.
languages have different number counting systems, like whether they all are based on 10 or not. Imperial is way different than metric, you know?
Yeah, numbers do represent, numbers don't start. It's like people think that this is a beginning to creation, or to this in my opinion, a creating universe. Whereas I think it's fractal. It just keeps going and going and going and going. If 0 is the middle point and the numbers go negative to the left and positive to the right, 0 would be the God point, and the dual opposing vortices would be outward from the center. And that's the torus. That's how that works. They go up and then they come back in, and so on forever. As long as you're a consciousing person, I don't think we're dead or alive. I think those are just labels, words for someone, to try to make sense of this. People need to give labels and slap them on things so they can move to the next thing. Chances are.
Did somebody say math is reality? Did I hear that?
No.
Sorry, guys, we're having a bit of a glitchy
Math.
feed. Sorry to interrupt. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a couple of changes. I don't know if you can just wait till I tell you we're back on. So for the audience, you're going to lose the connection for a couple of seconds.
Piracy.
We live in this world of duality, Haunted, but the secret of duality is that it's actually unity proposing as duality, because these opposing things define each other, and like you can't have light without darkness, you can't have hot without cold. So while they seem like they're different, they're interdependent, right?
You think that's a human contrivance, though? I think there's a middle point, too. I think that the fulcrum keeps the balance, and it defines what is what. You know, to the left and to the right, like if you have an equation, the equal sign would be God, because it defines what is to the right and what's to the left. Without that in the middle, you don't know what you're dealing with. This is something I looked into when I did my Walter Russell research. You know, stillness, the 0 point, the lowest vibrate, the low by 8 hertz, the long waves. That's how you soothe the body into like another state of consciousness. Or as
you know how big
some would say,
a wave like that actually is? They're like an 8 hertz wave would be like 100,000.
That's a nice wave. I never heard 8 hertz though. I don't think I could.
You mean
hear about
electro wave or sound wave? Sound waves are a lot shorter, yeah. Because I was doing some, I don't know why I was looking into it, but you know, well, they generate power at like 60 or 50 hertz, right?
60 cycles.
Yeah, so a 60 cycle electromagnetic wave is about the distance of, it's a little bit bigger than the distance between the Earth's crust and then the ionosphere layer. It's sort of interesting.
I say sound is light.
Your what?
And light is sound. Sound is light, and light is sound. It's just, well, according to science, says light has electromagnetic radiation properties to it.
Is the stream back working online?
It seems to be.
I just want to shout out the Dodo. I just want to shout out the Dodo and Aristarchus in chat. Boom.
Yeah, they can hear you.
Aristarchus.
Yeah, the never-ending word free association game.
I just want to hear a little bit of Ranty's experience yesterday on Dell's show. It was very interesting. Then Jonathan joined. I joined for a minute also, but Ranty interaction was very interesting in Beyond the Imaginary Curve. I don't know if you want to fill us up, Ranty?
I thought your interaction was interesting too, Jose.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't remember a lot of it, to be honest. I went in there with an agenda to just, try and see if he wanted to be...
Unity,
yeah,
right?
About Unity, yeah. See if he wanted to try and start interacting more with different Flat Earth channels instead of him just being on his own all the time. And essentially, he's not really bothered. So, yeah.
He's a morbid cat,
hey?
He's a morbid dude. Jeez Louise. That's the first time I spoke to him. Like, fucking, hey, can you get... Sorry, Nathan. That's like the stretch too. Can I get like a crack? Can he crack a smile? You know? It's like he's got more people kissing his boop than I bet he's got more people kissing his boop than Bro Sanchez does. Like, yeah, whatever Dell says, if you say anything against we're gonna kick your butt. And I was like, God, this is not good, man. That's why I told him. I was like, I think people look up to you as a leader or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I got nothing wrong with that. If somebody wants to assume the role of organizer or point man, hey, where are we at? I'm working 50 hours a week. Man, I don't know what the hell is going on. Oh, well, go to that guy. He's taking the responsibility. It could be a rotating basis. It could show like there's some kind of structure to this, like a collective. Collective's a good word. Cult? No. Cult is emotion-based, and there's way too much of that. Collective is like, we're getting something out of this. Some people are getting money out of it. Some people are getting satisfaction out of it. Some people are getting knowledge. Well, what do you mean a flat Earth? Flat Earth people getting knowledge out of this? Well, why don't you look into it? This is how you sign up. But we need to be individuals before we can unify, or else it's just a bunch of people that are there and they don't even know why.
Well,
Sorry,
I think unity is a bad, because I think if you form a group, they're the masters of this. Like historically, all the groups that form to oppose the power structure, they get infiltrated and taken over. So I think it's best to have a bunch of individual leader type people, because they also don't like leaders. They've tried to train males not to be leaders through their education system and pharmaceutical industry. So we need a bunch of individual leaders standing up for what's right, and fighting those and telling the truth about what's going on with those in power, I think.
And just being honest and incorporating that word honesty back in. The government usurped it for transparency. It's like, no, plexiglass is transparent. Human beings aren't transparent. Human beings are honest. And that word's never spoken of, ever, when it comes to politics in this country. That's for sure. Integrity is another word.
Yeah, I think it's funny. It's funny when a politician actually does what he promises on the campaign trail. People are actually surprised, like, he actually did what he said he was going to do.
On the state level, or even like your town, your borough, I live in New Jersey, so I don't know how it is for you guys over in England. I know it's broken up into smaller counties or villages or whatever, but we have state and then we have towns, and the towns are really boroughs or whatever, but it's state and then city and I guess small towns, and every town has a mayor. When you're accessible, it's much less. The politician, the person in charge, quote unquote, is accessible. In other words, if you screw around with people, if you start like embezzling funds or screwing up, just like messing up the place, people are very vocal about it. And it's not like we're Trump, who knows where he is right now. No one knows. He's untouchable. So it's not accountable. He's not holding himself accountable, and no one else is. So I think on the state level, sure, this corruption. There's the guy Chris Christie, and there's always going to be some scandals blown out of proportion by the media. But I thought about getting into some of that. It's just boring as hell. I can't do the paperwork and all that sitting down.
What do you think about?
The mayor should be out there on a Sunday with one of those garbage pokers. If the guy really cares about the town of Podunk, Pennsylvania, he should be out there, so everyone can wave to him and, hey, there's the mayor. He's really devoted to cleaning this place up because he's doing whatever he can. I would vote for that guy. He's the guy who picks up trash. Sorry. What were you saying?
I was going to ask you what you thought about, just the drugs in general. And, there's weed now, which isn't really hard to get or that illegal anymore. But what do you think about other drugs like cocaine and things like that? Should they stay
legalize
illegal?
them?
Do you think
Absolutely
legalize
them? Legalize them. It's
Yeah,
legal anyway.
It should be legal, but people still shouldn't do them.
Well, I mean, I just see how people have power over other people because they have access to this stuff, and other people are willing to do whatever to get to it, which is not a good thing.
It'll clear itself out because right now people are doing the drugs anyway, either illegal or legal, doesn't matter. They're going to do them anyway. They're going to do them in secret, and if they're doing it in secret, that lends itself to behavior that's eventually they're going to trip up and it's going to cause problems. They're going to be deceptive towards the family, towards the friends. If it's legal, now everything is on the table. So if you are a user, what would the user do? Is that user going to allow the government to dictate whether or not they think it's right or wrong? because people think drugs are wrong because, well, the government says they're legal, so they must be wrong. Then there's, of course, the whole moral issue. But if it's out on the table, everybody who's doing them is going to take advantage of that. Everyone's going to see it, and everyone's going to pass judgment, and it will clean itself up.
Yeah,
Now
I mean,
it's bam, it's right there.
you could still do it in secret, I guess, if it was legal. It's just, I hate
Sure.
the whole fact of someone having to be unsafe trying to go get something, or doing
Yeah,
whatever to go and get it when they can just
painkillers.
get it safely. Yeah, but yeah, it was interesting to see what happens after, because the weed turning in becoming legal. Like here, I think in Michigan, it just became legal last Thursday, but then it's still like years away from you ever being able to buy it in a store.
So do you guys have a dispensary or whatever they call it?
There's a bunch of dispensaries, and you have to have a recommendation to still go into one of them. And a couple of weeks ago, they raided a whole bunch of them because these dispensaries were putting other drugs in with the weed, like fentanyl and stuff.
Oh man.
So even there, you have a big problem where no one's testing this shit to make sure it is just weed.
There was a woman who died just last week. She was given 8 shots, basically 8 vaccines, the MMR, the flu shot, blah blah blah. And she asked the nurse, she was like, "That seems like a lot of shots to give someone in one day. Is this the right procedure?" And the nurse goes, "I don't know." But frankly, I don't know. 2 days later, this is a 50-year-old woman, okay, family, like 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son, 2 or 3 cats, dogs in the house, husband, young, like spirited family, kind of like a lot of space, a lot of backyard space.
Can you
Dead.
link this?
It's on a website, govt, like government, govt, slaves.info, and you'll see it on there. Unbelievable. I read the woman's name's Denise Mullen, I think, and I went to the Facebook, and it's, could you imagine that? Like, she said she felt queasy, she felt nauseous, she didn't feel right a day later, and the next day they found her and with the water running in the bathroom, on the ground, dead. That's it, gone.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
That's heavy, man. And I don't, I hate, it's not really my forte because I don't have any children and I'm never going to let anyone touch me. But when it comes to that sort of thing, but the people I know someone's from Sweden, and I think you can like lose your kids or something, or you can't send them to school. Has anyone else experienced this? Like, come into your home and threaten you?
You don't get vaccines,
man. That's when I get a gun.
This is what a lot of ballers don't get, that being a baller is a huge part of this other stuff we're talking about. This just bowing to this religion. It is connected. Sorry. Tell you what, you can't even homeschool in Germany. That's illegal. Not surprised, because the education system is based out of Germany. So I mean, yeah.
People just pulled their kids from this terrible educational system.
Yeah, you can't in some places. It's illegal.
There are people. Well, the police have children too, and it's really like, who is going to be the one behind the trigger? If the army starts, because these people in the army, they have we're all the same, We're all
but
the same.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Because these guys are so brain. But as soon as they wake up, you can't be a cop. You can't be in the military anymore. So you understand. They're not going to. You just can't. They're not going to wake up, and if they do, then they won't be cops anymore. That's pretty much how I say.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think in France, there's this guy George Galloway. He's like a political pundit or whatever, spokesperson or talking head. Said some really interesting stuff about the next wave is going to be the police are going to be affected by however, whatever the government is doing over there. I couldn't find a straight answer. It seems like everything, a cumulative amount of just all the crap that people are just sick of. The police are now, the only reason why they're taking the brunt of all the stuff being thrown is because they're paid to protect this building. But when their quality of life starts to diminish, they're not going to protect those buildings. They're going to be the ones in the street, and they're going to wonder, those people in the building, where's our protection? Oh, yeah, today's the day, by the way. Today's the day we're taking it back by force because you guys couldn't figure this out. We're here paying you guys tax dollars to work 40 hours a week. Get it right. If I don't get it right on my job, I'm fired.
Well, it seems like the system, they've got their 5G rolling out where they can just microwave people, or they probably got the DARPA attack dogs.
But that's conspiratorial stuff, though. 5G.
Well, whatever you think, but DARPA attack dogs are not. They developed that shit, man. Have you seen the robots they developed?
Yeah, that's internet stuff. Not my reality. I won't fear any fear.
You don't think they're developing? Wait. You don't.
Sure.
You don't think it's true that they're developing very sophisticated robots to do these things?
To do what thing? Attack people?
Attack people, pretty much.
I'm not scared of it. I don't think
Terminator's
going to be knocking on my door anytime soon.
Sorry to interrupt you
Okay.
guys.
The T1.
Is anybody willing to drop? Got somebody in the chat. Kevin, I think his name wants to join. Anybody willing?
Yeah, I'll drop if he's gonna be in.
I'll drop too. So.
I only need one
Well,
person
if Psychics drops, I don't want to drop. I like how it makes me happy.
Psychic's the best.
Whoever. Thank you
All right, no
in
problem.
advance.
I'll see you guys.
He can
Thanks,
bench
Physics.
one.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think Eric, was that what you
Hold on one
was
second.
that your name?
Hold on one second.
Good to
Hi,
hear you.
Kevin.
Yeah, Eric.
Hi, Kevin. How you doing? Good to have you. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear
Turn
you,
off
Kevin.
your mute on.
Turn off your radio.
Yeah, turn off your radio.
I muted the watch page. Can you guys hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Good to have you. Thanks for joining.
Holy shit. Oh, dude. I'm a huge fan of the show. I've been watching for probably like the last 6 months now. And wow, I'm like shaking right now. I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
So,
nothing to be nervous
That's
about.
honestly right there.
It's about as laid back a show as you could join at the moment.
Huh? Say it again?
It's about as laid back a show as you could join at the moment. There's no blazing row going on. There's nothing contentious being discussed. So
I still get shaky when I start getting like emotional about this stuff. I don't like. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. That's good.
Well,
it's good to get your nerves up a little bit.
I was talking to Anthony Riley yesterday on the Google comments, and you guys are pretty much like my celebrities. Like I would much rather meet you guys versus any Hollywood celebrity. You guys don't know how much you're changing the world. And oh man, I had this huge speech I was gonna say and all this shit, but now I'm just winging it. But I just want to say thank you guys for. I'm 26. I'm out in United States of America in Virginia. I'm originally from San Diego, California. And I recently, about a year ago, moved out to Virginia to meet my father's side of the family. So I've been out here just experiencing like weather change and all that shit and the seasons in San Diego.
Topic?
My friends, so I'm kind of like more like I don't have a lot of friends. I like to keep it, a small circle. But I constantly am forever having, the back and forth with them all the time. My one buddy, it was funny when, like 3 years ago when I brought it up to him, he was like, dude, if you keep talking about this, I'm gonna get out and we're gonna fight right here in this parking lot. And I was like, what, over a topic, dude? And that's when I like kind of discovered like what this topic, you know, we all know that it triggers people. And like in that day I realized like, wow, this really is like a very triggering topic.
You know what?
Oh man,
I think that guy wants you to talk about it. Subconsciously, he wants you to talk about it. So what you can do is just do your thing. You know, ask people questions, ask your friends questions. Hey, does this sound right to you guys? You know, confide in them, and then all of a sudden they'll realize, hey, I like it when that guy asks me questions because it makes me feel special, and it makes me feel like I'm here for a reason. And then you'll notice them coming back to you with a little bit of data, trying to like impress you. Like, hey, you know, about that flat Earth thing, I looked into it, and blah 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 blah. And it's
this happens. That happens.
You'll turn them over. You know, just don't try and convince them of anything. Be proud of it. Keep it inside, and make them come to you. You don't go to them. We don't go to them. They come to us for questions.
Right. No, I'm a huge in-person, like I'm not very good at debating. I've heard all of the arguments and all the proofs and stuff, but I have a hard time like repeating it out loud. I get jumbled up and stuff, so I always have to, you know, wing a lot of stuff in these arguments. But I'm like that guy at work that I'll bring it up and then all of a sudden, right? It is what it is. But it is what it is.
Except for Nathan's debate. That's the only debate.
Yeah.
You don't have to debate so much. I think people like Chocolate and he does a lot at work, and he just asks people, you know, proper questions about what they believe in, and just points out how crazy it is. Man. You know, just asking questions like about their belief.
It's really hard. I'm a terrible listener, as you can tell. But if you can find the patience in you, if you're going to introduce this topic to someone, just ask them, how do they verify? If they tell you you're crazy and all the other stuff, just ask them how they verify to themselves. Like, don't ask for them to prove it to you. Ask them, pose a question, a hypothetical thought experiment. How do you verify the shape of your Earth?
Yeah,
get them to wonder.
That's my big thing is what do I say to them? I go, whenever I bring it up, before I say anything to them, I go, hey, what's your opinion? Is it globe Earth or flat Earth? And I love the look that they give me, because they a lot of people like at work, or a lot of the older guys and stuff, they don't YouTube search, they don't even know the movements going on, so they look at me like all crazy.
That's kind of a trap by asking that question. It's not the question you want to ask, and I'm not trying to discourage you or anything. You know,
I'm here to listen.
Feel comfortable. I find when you do the dividing, we're in a divide and conquer situation where it's 50-50. If we instead of flat or globe, we substitute it for X and Y, or we'll call it black and white. You see right there how it changes all of a sudden? It's not so, like, the tension is relieved when you stop calling it flat or a sphere. We'll say A or B, you know, boxers or boots, whatever you want to, Coke or Pepsi. And when that happens, it's the polarization ends, the fight stops, and it becomes a matter of opinion, because that's what it really is at the end. So just ask them questions about whatever, or don't ask them questions, you know, because at the end of the day, if you come across desperate, they're gonna see that you're asking for validation, and they're gonna sense that you're unsure about it, and they're gonna start to doubt you. So
who is this I'm speaking to on the panel?
Oh, this is Jonathan, Haunted House.
Haunted House. Oh, I don't think I. Oh, from New Jersey. Okay. I don't think I've. Oh yeah, it's cold as hell right
from
now.
New Jersey. That's very important detail.
Huh?
Very important detail. must know. He's from New Jersey.
Oh yeah. Damn. So Nathan, I just wanted to say I was trying not to get all mushy gushy or anything like that, but when I discovered your show off of Jaronism, and I've been watching Jaronism, kind of was the one that woke me up. A lot of people do Mark Sargent, but for me it was Jaronism. When I heard he called you out on, or he didn't call you out, he gave you a shout out on one of his shows, and I went and looked you up, and dude, I've been hooked to this show ever since, man. I listen like every day, and the stuff you say is so damn funny sometimes, and it really is. You really are doing such a great job for the community and for the world. Really, you guys are on like another level of debates. Like,
who is Jaden? Who's that guy? Eddie Bravo woke me up, man.
I like Eddie Bravo too. I think
right,
this shit's funny.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Very complimentary. I'll take it. I mean, I can relate to. For me, people like Patricia, Math, Jaren, they're my celebrities.
Yeah, you're on that level with me for sure.
I remember Issa saying I'm not boasting, but Issa said the same thing maybe a year and a half, maybe even 2 years ago now. And at the time, he was the first to say it. He was like, "You're my celebrity," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is weird." And since then I've probably only heard it a couple of times. Don't get me wrong, but you kind of think, well, no, I get that because of the people that I look up to. I tried to emulate Patricia initially, and it's because she can take it as the biggest possible compliment. I wanted to be like her, if you want to look at it in that way. And that's how people are with their celebrities. They kind of want to be with them. They'll buy their makeup and their clothes if they're women. That's how it is. So I totally get it. I'm just Joe Average though. Before this I was delivering groceries, so I'm nothing special by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Just got the tenacity to put a YouTube show on. That's basically it. And put a bit of work into it. But I want to be a successful YouTuber, and I'm glad that people like what I'm doing. The last show people were smashing the super chat. I'm like, wicked, because that's what keeps the show going. So I'm eternally grateful. Most of all, I say at every show, to the people who watch. If there wasn't an audience, that'd be it. So I am extremely grateful. I'll take every one of those compliments. Thank you very much.
Well, speaking of work, I'm going to go and do a bit of filming now, Nath. Sunset, but the weather looks beautiful, so I'm going to go and see what I can see.
Where from?
So I'm going to be leaving you guys. I'm going to go down to Ankersholm again.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm just going to maybe see the Isle of Man. Who knows? We can try, can't we?
Excellent. Yeah, let's know.
Sorry to cut you off before, Ranty.
Don't forget, before you go though, Ranty, if possible, if you're around in the week, we've got to present that dude's stuff from the opposite end of the Isle of Man. Shout out to Red Pill Philosophy for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. It says best show on the internet. I'll take it. Thank you, Red Pill. It's getting a lot of compliments today. Definitely. It's a good day for Nathan. So we must do that because that's other people have mirrored it and stuff, and I don't want the momentum to slide on that. I want to kind of, if people are cottoning on to that dude's stuff, I want to build that momentum, not for him as a YouTuber, but because his stuff's so good.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll let you get on, Ranty.
Right, I'm gonna leave now, guys. If I'll just stay in the chat, so if you want to kick me, if somebody else wants to join, that's fine. But I'll keep the panel full for now, and you just go on mute.
Oh, Ranty, I just wanted to say you're doing a great job too, man. Thanks for everything you do. I know it's a lot of adventure for you, and just wanted to say keep it up, man. You're doing great.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kevin.
Ditto.
Do appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for leaving. If you want to join, let us know from the chat. Thank you. Ranty will leave the panel open for now, so we don't get horrible.
All right. See you in a bit.
See you later. Thank you.
Hey, Kevin, are you close enough to drive up to Baltimore today?
Baltimore? How far is? Let me look at I'm not very geographically into. I'm trying not to cuss. Let me see where Baltimore is at.
Probably a couple hours at least.
Yeah, I'm in what is it? Stafford County, Virginia. Baltimore from Virginia.
Yeah, there's a level of inspiration that occurs with this topic. That's really an amazing thing if you get to be a part of it. I don't know who I inspire yet.
I'm
I'm waiting for them to come knocking down my door. You're the one, buddy.
You guys, you all collectively. It's not just Nathan. It's all of you guys collectively as the group. You come on here and you stick together, and it's even when you argue amongst yourselves, that's even beneficial because it shows the genuine level of intellect going on in this one little show on YouTube.
I can respond to that.
Everyone has different
Jonathan,
opinions.
You've definitely inspired me. So there was a time when, I'm sure you can remember, there was an absolute infestation of concave Earth trolls. They were bloody everywhere. And a few people, not you originally, but certainly you were the one that got me caught onto it, started to push forward this sort of parody of concave Earth called Dick Earth. And you made a little video. I don't know how you did it still to this day. You did explain it to me what you did with the Lite, but it was just so arty. And you were really serious, and the cinematography was really engaging, and I was really into it. And you were talking about something super serious, and at the end you just said Dick Earth, and of course it shattered all of the sincerity of the piece. But I can remember literally just breaking down in hysterical laughter and thinking, that is the most funny thing ever. That is what I will troll any concaver who ever trolls me from now on, because it's perfect. And I got that from you. I know it was Snack and various others that actually originated it, but
yeah, when you came up with that research Dick Earth shit, I was dying. I was laughing so hard. Shit was so funny. I'm trying not to cuss. I'm sorry.
No. It's contextual. So I mean, there's going to be a few swear words. Advance warning to the audience. We're going to be talking about Dick Earth. So you know, it's mostly
Dick Earth is hard to swallow.
Sorry.
Exactly. It's mostly double entendre. You know, it is a difficult.
Hey, P. Mars.
Yeah. It's there, you know, it does have a spherical aspect to it, you know, right around the base.
Jesus.
We are basically just children. I know, it's terrible. You can criticize me all you like. I love it.
No, humor in this is everything. I think that's what makes your show so funny is like you're not a dick until they come on and like start, you know, messing up in conversation, and it's like, all right then, if that's how you want to play. And I love it. I can't get enough. I'm trying not to sound like a fanboy right now, but I pretty much am.
And you can even look at flat Earth. You can even look at flat Earth as an in joke. You know, like if somebody needs to look at it that way, they're the ones coming in here and saying you guys aren't allowed to laugh at that idea. They want to ruin the party and say you guys can't question that, you know. And it's like, hey, you know, you can come on and join the fun, but they won't do it. They will not do it. They're the worst. Worst people, you know. They're the bummers. The guy in the corner Bill Hicks was talking about, get that guy out of here, man, he's bumming me out. What's a buzzkill? Like, you guys can't have fun with this. You guys, flat Earth is an adventure. Dude, there could be more land. That's insane. That's insane.
That's why what I don't.
Crazy.
I'm gonna drop so this guy Scott can come in, guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Cheers.
You can just kick Ranty.
Could have just kicked Ranty if you want to stay, Eric.
All right. Oh yeah. Somebody wants to come in.
I'll just do that. I'll just kick Ranty, Eric.
Okay.
But that's what to mention the more land thing. That's what I don't get, why people get so shut down to this idea. It's like, listen, there's they don't understand that there's so much evidence to question it with, that if everyone just got on board, it would just move everything up so fast. We would be discovering things left and right. It would take away like that feeling of nothing left to discover. Like that feeling is so false. And it eats me up inside knowing that, you know. It's like,
hey, nice try, Seaside Wheelbarrow. You're not going to come in and pour it. You just tried to jump in.
Nathan, do you or anybody who was in on this back in 2015, the summer of 2015, a guy named John LeBon had a show called Flat Earth Roundtable, I think.
Baller Skeptic.
And he had Baller Skeptic. That's what it was. He had Mark Knight, Wakey Wakey, which, Kevin, if you're not familiar with that channel,
Eric
definitely
Debay.
check it out.
Mark Knight.
Sure. Yeah, Mark Knight. It's wakey wakey. I don't know if someone's got a computer, maybe they can WAYKI, twice.
Okay.
He was on there. David Weiss was on there, the ITRH, and John LeBon, and they were talking about the moon, and it was the first time I had ever heard a discussion between some intelligent guys scrutinizing what we're seeing and not using the scientific narrative that we've been taught. It was the first time I remember I was walking my dog and I had gone to a part of my town I had never gone to. I was like, where the hell am I? I was so locked into listening and just totally into like this idea that, well, we're all settled on it's not what they say it is. So if that's the case, and it is the case, as far as I'm concerned, then that means my guess, if I can figure this out, there's an opportunity for me to bring an intelligent theory or an intelligent way of approaching this. Like, I don't know what the moon is. I don't know what it's made of. I don't know. It's a mystery to me, which is good. Mystery is good. That keeps us going. That keeps us wondering. That keeps our brains active. We don't really want answers.
That's why
we just want a little bit more information so we can move to the next level. It's like a video game, I don't want it to end. I don't want to see God or anything like that. I just want to get to the next levels so I can enjoy this more.
Sorry, just 1 second,
we move up.
Right. I just
want to say, Kevin, just
go ahead.
Between talking, if you can just pop yourself on mute, just so the background noise doesn't come through.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But if I don't know. Does anyone know if those episodes are still up?
Those what?
I don't know. Do you know if those episodes are still up? The John LeBon Baller Skeptic?
No, I think they might be on his website now. So earlier we were talking about people going from saying he's making money from the truth to he's not making any money from the truth. Well, he was, hey Chris. Hello. Well, hopefully we'll hear from Chris in a moment. But JLB was talking about exactly the same thing. So he's put his material, and perfectly entitled to do so, behind a paywall. It's his hard work. He's taken a lot of his stuff off YouTube, I think including Baller Skeptic Roundtable, and he's put it onto his channel and re-uploaded them behind a paywall. So if you want to watch his stuff, you have to go... He does still release stuff on YouTube, mainly to entice people to his website. And he's another one that's being criticised. Well, the truth should be free. Screw you, I've done all this research. If you want to know what it is, you can come and have a look and pay for it if you want it. If you don't, sod off. Go and do your own research. All the stuff I've found is there for you to find if you want to put the time and effort in. If you don't, you can come and look at it on my site. But that'll cost you. And I think, good for you. You're an entrepreneur. You're doing this work. And if you want to share it with people and they're kind enough to give you money to do so, then that's a mutually beneficial situation for both parties. Good for both. If John LeBon's making money from it, then good for him. Same for me. If I'm making money from people donating and that's what's keeping the channel going, and that continues, good for me. However, the people out there that are like taking the opposite approach, well, you're not making enough money on it. It's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Yeah, everyone wants to make more money, of course. But so what? Why are people so concerned about it? Normally the people who aren't spending a penny piece, right? It doesn't affect them one iota.
Like JLB is one of the people I would say they've turned truth into a business and has no credibility for doing so. And I think he's a total fraud, and he just says things to be sensational, to get a reaction. He's like a
there's an aspect to him like that. I agree with that, because I didn't know where.
Really?
I mean,
he says no one died on 9/11. That's just absurd.
Just his opinion.
Yeah.
He's an excellent researcher. He shows his sources.
He's not.
Okay.
Well, I don't know where he stands. Like, where he was. I remember. Do you guys remember that debate? That really heated debate with Red's Rhetoric versus Jeranism and John LeBon, and I think like David Weiss. David Weiss was there for a little bit, and he was in a car or something like that. And they had that guy who kept on talking about the kinematic model. Don't know what his name was, but it was on Glowbusters, I believe. You guys.
Hey, Scott. How
anybody?
You
all remember
Hold
that?
on 1 second. Hey, Scott. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure.
What's up, Scott? Nice hat.
Nothing, man. I had a terrible day because it's been raining buckets all day here on my only day off.
Yeah, same here. Pretty much.
Where do you live?
Side of the fence you on?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all anybody wants
Of
to know
what?
when we get a new guest.
Hello.
And what kind of mic are you using? Powerful voice. At least maybe it's just my headphone. Scott.
Me? I'm just using my
Yep.
phone. Sorry, I won't speak so close to the phone.
Oh no, I don't think it's what you. I thought maybe you were on. You know those little electret mics are something else. I think they're the lavalier mics and those little mics. They're really wired to be hot, super duper hot. Crap, what was I going to say? Yeah, I'm just asking where you're from. Are you from the States?
Oh, okay, yeah. I grew up in Florida.
Oh, cool.
On the space coast. I watched hundreds of rockets pretend to go to space. That's what I like to say. And 15 years ago, I moved to Thailand, and I've been in Southeast Asia ever since.
Awesome. Be right back, guys.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know what side of the fence you sit now.
Yeah, I'm an anarchist, and discovered the flat Earth truth about 3.5 years ago, before it was popular.
Ah, the good old days. Seems like such a long time ago.
Yeah,
it really. I can agree with that. I've totally watched it go from like the insulting to like it's like a topic you can run into on the streets, and it's
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like it's
Yeah, well, nowadays when I bring it up, people don't say, "What are you talking about?" They go, "Oh, you're a flat earther," or "Are you talking about flat Earth?" That means they know about it.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. It's like now it seems everybody that's on the internet is at least heard of this topic. It's been truly like amazing to watch that grow from total confusion to like, oh, you're just a flat earther or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It leaves me to think how many of those people
Leave these guys to shoot the breeze about the wonderful discovery that is flat Earth. As I say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hitting the super chat, and of course a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. Now, the show that continues to record after we finish this live stream will get rebroadcast at 11 AM UK time, so that's 1100 hours GMT if you want to look at the time in your local time zone. So it's a change from the previous 3 AM time that I was broadcasting, as it went out accidentally late today and got considerably more people watching. So if you're unaware of my second channel, it's Nathan Oakley, and that channel has the pre-show, which is broadcasting as soon as this show finishes, so at about 4 PM UK time, or 1600 GMT. That will go out as soon as this live show finishes, but as I say, at 11 AM tomorrow, 1100 hours GMT, the after show, which will continue to be recorded once I finish this live stream, will get broadcast for the first time, so be sure to tune in to that. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Like you've given up before you even started, Pete.
Let him answer.
I mean, I don't. I like comedy, and I'm also a truther. So sometimes I do things to be funny, but it's not really funny to the audience. I guess just funny to me. And then other times I do feel like having a discussion with people, but I think the sphere Earth is the truth, right? So I'm kind of against what's going on here at the same time.
Okay. See, that's like an honest answer. But so instead of being, doing the funny comedy stuff, this is like an actual educational, like this show is educational as is all get out. It's not something you should be against or with if you're, on the globe side. It should be something that you come in here and you actually debate topics, and instead of just shutting down what they say, listen to what they say, and engage in that. You don't have to combat this channel so hard sometimes. I don't know if I'm explaining that right or anything.
You are, but he does, because it's his religious belief and he has to defend it at all costs.
In the end, even if I combat the channel, I'm just helping give Nathan content, and I make Ball Earth people look bad. So,
well, we don't want. I mean,
you could ask two people. You could ask two people what's happening right now on this live discussion.
Yeah,
and one might say there's a flat group and a ball group. The other might say, well, what I see right here are people with a forum to scrutinize mainstream ideas, regardless of the outcome. And that right there is worth its weight in gold, to exercise and get used to not taking any funny business, for lack of better terminology, putting your foot down the best way you can, not fighting the government, but do it in your job. Do it on whatever scale you can. And
yeah, I think non-participation
in critical thinking
as much as you can.
Exactly. Engaging in critical thinking, peaceful, civilly. And sometimes it's not so civil. But we're all human, but nobody's perfect. That right there, I just want people to question. I don't care what they think the shape of the world is. It doesn't concern me. If we can get people to just open their minds a little bit and realize that you have God-given right to question anything you want. God, that's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of this thing. You're allowed to do that. Unshackle yourself. You had the key the whole damn time. You didn't need it.
Well, Haunted, what do you think? What do you think about people intentionally spreading misinformation on the internet on purpose to mislead people? How do you feel about that?
Oh, people
They
that are
get
aware.
caught out pretty fast.
Sean
They get
Hufford,
caught
Slice
out.
Arcane, Rumpus, think people like that, P.
No, I was talking about you
hold them
and
accountable.
Riley, actually.
You're talking about me? Well, when I point out to an audience, P, that to remove yourself from the photograph you're analysing and study a picture you draw of the side of your own head removes perspective, and then someone like Wiggles or Rumpus says, we don't need perspective, right? That's not me trying to deceive the audience. That's me pointing out where they have been deceived with the calculator. But yet you think I'm deceiving the audience and they're not, while they're literally telling you, we don't need perspective. That's what they're saying. We don't need it, even though it's in every single picture we ever analyse ever, and that's the magic trick, and we're telling you that. You think I'm deceiving you by pointing out how their magic trick works. Okay.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Absolutely correct. You don't realise that these are your tormentor and your abuser and your captor, and you're defending them. We're pointing out the shackles, and you're saying, look at you, evil man, telling me that I've got shackles on. Yeah, you have. Yeah, this is how the magic trick works. We're not lying. We're not deceiving. I have the most sincere voice when I say these things. The trick works by removing perspective, which is in every single photograph. And what they call curvature is the replacement for the perspective they removed. That's not a lie. That's not me deceiving anybody. That's a fact. That's what they do. They admit it.
And that is what I'm talking about, P-Mars, by actually listening to what they say. Because when he says, like, that's a fact, that's not Nathan's opinion of what's going on. That's not his belief.
Well,
that is a fact.
No,
Reproducible, testable
It's not a fact. Honestly,
reproducible, testable.
I do listen to what Nathan says, and I double check what he's saying to see if it's accurate. And 9 out of 10 times, it's completely wrong. So I don't know. Is he like purposely lying, or
give me an example, NP? Go on then. Qualify that. Give me an example where I've been wrong or lied. As you
just did it wrong.
You said
like
gas. You said like a container is an antecedent to having
Island
gas
from
pressure.
some bees.
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, a container is the necessary antecedent for gas pressure. That's not a lie. That's absolutely factually accurate.
I mean, my research shows that is a lie. So,
what about Ireland from some bees?
Maybe I'm just bad at doing research. But every time I research what flat Earth people say, it's so often they're just totally incorrect. So I don't know. What am I supposed to think about that?
So P Mars, with the necessary antecedent part, here on Earth, that is, I cannot ball up a ball of pressure in my hands. I need a container. The only time that the rules down here change is when NASA or the scientists tell us that it changes up there in space. That's why Nathan says that. Here on Earth, we must have a container to hold pressure, to hold gas, to hold anything. You must, your car, everything. But in space, that's the only time it changes. And that is what Nathan is pointing out to you. How can you prove to me that we can have gas pressure without a container? And
it's easy.
Well, it's not easy.
Oh, hold on.
It's absolutely
Tell him it's not.
You walk outside, there's gas pressure all around you outside, and there's no container outside.
Sorry, I didn't hear the beginning part of your example. Sorry, P. Go ahead again.
Dude, you go outside anywhere on the Earth, there's gas pressure, and there's no container in an open field or on a mountain or wherever. It's all over the place, and there's no container.
Sorry, that's not the problem, P. Listen up, right? I don't dispute the gas pressure bit. Yes, the gas pressure bit's self-evident. But the space bit isn't. Hello? The vacuum of space is your religious belief of what is beyond the gas pressure. So I don't dispute that I can go out and see self-evident gas pressure. What about space? You going to space, Pete? No. Am I going to space? No. Anybody on the panel going to space? No. Oh, right. Well, what do we know about space? Well, they tell us it's a sodding vacuum. Second law of thermodynamics violation. Can't have a vacuum next to pressure. Now, I'm not asserting anything about what's beyond the gas pressure. I just know there is gas pressure. And every example, every single example that maintains gas pressure has a container. So if you're to say that, no, there is an exception, it's this bit that you can't travel to called the vacuum of space. Well, no, that's just a religious belief.
I don't agree with that, because for one, we can see space.
What do you mean you can see space? You can see stars. What do you mean you can see
space?
To
think that you found a flaw with the law of thermodynamics to expose like what's on in the upper atmosphere.
No, it's not a flaw. It's not a flaw. To have pressure, you got to press on something. It's simple. Now, if you're next to a vacuum, you're not going to press on that vacuum. You're going to disperse into it. That's the law of thermodynamics. Entropy. Hot flows to cold. That's simple stuff. And you can't press on a lower pressure system. You disperse into it. Now, that's just simple stuff that you cannot quantify if you believe in the vacuum of space. Now, I'm not going there. You're not going there. But we all agree we've got gas pressure. And every single example of a pressurized system, even at the very small differential of atmospheric pressure versus a bloody balloon, you still can't maintain gas pressure, let alone the gas pressure we all know and love next to 10 to the minus 17 torr, a vacuum. That's not going to happen. But you want to believe in it because you're shown it on TV and told that when you look at the stars, that's space. No, they've told you what space is, a vacuum. That doesn't work. Now, I can't help that, but if you think you've got an example that defies the necessary antecedent, which is where this started, you're asserting that I'm lying when I assert that the necessary antecedent's a container. Well, the question is there an example where you don't need a container to maintain a gas pressure? If so, show me.
Nathan, can I try to say something? You know when you go up a mountain and the pressure's different? Is that not an example of what you're on about? Like, doesn't that
can't you infer from that it might be a gradient
You can do
further
whatever you like.
than
You
a
can
mountain?
infer whatever you like, but it doesn't change my statement, Dawn. To have pressure, you must press on something. So you're saying the pressure's lower up there. Oh, right. So it's still gas pressure then. So it still needs to press on something, Dawn. So do you think it makes... Hold on, Dawn. Dawn, this is when you need to listen, not talk. When you explain that there's a gas pressure differential, does that in any way change my statement about the necessary antecedent for gas pressure by you strapping the word gradient on or claiming that it's lower up top?
I think it does a little. I think it changes it a little.
Really? So you think because it's a lower pressure that suddenly at the top, where it's the lowest pressure...
No, not suddenly. That's the point. That's the point.
Shut your stupid
go up the
mouth.
You can measure
haven't finished. Dawn, shut up. This is why you're dumb. Because you don't fucking listen. Listen, Dumbo, I'm telling you, and you don't want to fucking listen. That makes you a dumb fuck. So shut your mouth and listen. When it gets to the top, there is still... Have you done yet, Dawn? Do you just want to remain fucking stupid your entire life? Or do you want an explanation for your question? If you want an explanation, shut your fucking mouth and listen to me. If you don't want a fucking explanation, go in peace and believe in fucking R and space being existing next to very low pressures. Because I don't give a fuck how low it gets up there. To have pressure in any fucking amount, you got to press on something. Now, if you're to assert the next to that very low pressure is a fucking vacuum, then you're a Mongol. You can't press on a vacuum, you stupid dick. It doesn't matter how low the pressure gets, it's still got to fucking press on something. The necessary antecedent being the fucking thing you've got to press on. You still can't keep your mouth shut. This is why you will remain eternally dumb, Dawn. Because what I've just said hasn't gone in, you've talked instead of listening. So piss off and remain stupid elsewhere.
Oh, I get your point. I understand your point.
No, you don't.
Don, all it means is that there's multiple things that are being pressed on in the same container like setting. Pressed. It's gas pressure. It's not gas gravity, it's gas pressure.
No, it just presses in all directions until there's an equilibrium.
Okay, all I'm saying is if you measure it,
strong force. It's a very
if you measure the gradient
effect.
slowly up a mountain, and then you measure it on a plane.
But it's a very strong
and the gradient continues.
Somebody let someone finish their point. Somebody let someone finish the point. Dawn, say what you got to say, man.
Okay, so if I measure 10 times up the mountain, different heights, then I go in a plane 10 more different heights above the mountain, each measurement slowly gets less. There's less and less pressure. I'm assuming at some point, maybe there's no pressure or nearly no pressure.
Why would you assume that? Because
Dawn,
your assumption is the assumption of a fucktard. Because it doesn't matter how low that pressure gets.
Your assumption that you have to have a container.
This is what you've asserted the same. Dawn, you didn't listen, you're still talking. This is why, as I asserted earlier, you will remain eternally dumb. Because you didn't listen to what I said, you've asked the same fucking question, like a complete retard who didn't listen to the fucking answer the first time. So fucktard, this is your second chance to listen to the fucking answer, or I kick you out, you stupid twat. Right? Are you going to listen to the answer or not?
I don't care if you kick me out, dude.
Well, listen, do you want to listen to the answer? You just want to troll then? You're not interested in the answer. You're asking a question that you're not interested in the answer to because you've asserted your position. You've asserted your position twice and I've addressed it. You claimed you listened, then you reasserted your position, telling me that either you didn't listen or you've got Tourette's.
No.
So what's my rebuttal? Repeat it back to me. Let's see how dumb you really are.
When you shout it, it's harder to hear than if you just spoke it to me.
Well, maybe if you shut the fuck up, I would be able to speak it without having to talk louder and louder over a retard. That would be you, Dawn.
Dawn, can you make your point in 2 seconds?
Your point is that you need a container, right? To have pressure. Something has to press on it to make the pressure.
What? Just explain what's happening in the atmosphere. Don't worry about his point, or don't worry about proving anybody wrong.
No, I made
Prove yourself right.
Point. I'm inferring that at some point the pressure gets so small, we might as well call it no pressure. Because
what do
it
we-
gets smaller and smaller as we measure it upwards.
Yeah, that was
So
your
what?
original
Hold on a second.
point.
Hold on a
How
second.
do you
Let me-
come
let me-
to
let
this
me-
conclusion?
Jonathan, let me just try
Let me
once
get a shot. Hold
more.
on.
I'll try it calmly. Let's see if Dawn can listen for the entirety of what I say. Right?
not gonna listen,
To
Nathan.
assert that
He's not
because
gonna
it gets lower as you go higher, that somehow that defies the very definition of the word you're using. The word you're using is pressure, meaning to press on something. So you're saying that because it gets lower higher up, that somehow infers that the very definition of the word changes. When you get even higher, it stops needing to fucking press. Now that is stupid.
Kind of.
This is why you're dumb. I hadn't finished, but you're there with your cognitive dissonance telling me where I'm wrong because the cogs won't turn. Right, Dawn?
I said
So that's
kind
why
of.
you're
I was
interrupting me,
halfway.
because it hasn't sunk in the 3rd time, it won't sink in the 10th time. I'm telling you the problem. The very word itself means that your assumption that suddenly it doesn't need to press is absolutely ludicrous. Respond to me, Dawn. Yeah, I get it. Just because it's higher and I see a variant doesn't mean that the actual word used to describe what I'm talking about, pressure, doesn't need to mean what it means anymore to press on something.
Do you mind if can I quickly Google, does pressure mean pressing?
Are you a complete fucking retard? I mean, are you seriously this dumb, Dawn?
Dawn, you don't really
Seriously,
give a
I'm
shit.
asking it
At
serious
the end of the day,
sincerity.
man,
This is sincere. I'm stuttering because I'm lost for words that you could be this fucking stupid.
Let's calm down for a second here.
Gravity is
crazy.
the presumptuous gravity is
Okay.
a constant force that exerts some force, pushes in a direction. Yeah, that may level, that may push something back, but at the same time, the need to expand into an equilibrium
Okay, guys. Would you
is so much stronger.
Dawn,
If
are you
I-
losing sleep over this? Because we think this way? Like, are you having trouble at night going to bed?
No, I just wanted to join in for a conversation with my guys.
You wanted to provoke. You
Can
don't
I give
really
you a
get
little
flat Earth
concept? I'll give
now.
you flat Earth, yeah, and not gravity. It's not mass attracting mass. It's just
Well,
some
we don't
type of
need that.
downward force. I'll just
what do
quickly
you-
get it out.
What's at
Yeah.
stake?
So on this
What's
flat
at
Earth,
stake?
downward pressing force. Should we change the word pressure? And you admit there's a gradient going up. Should we change it to pushing?
We all
to
pulling.
pulling?
Admit it. We all admit
Puller.
you're right.
We'll call it puller.
Sure.
And that's the
Pulling.
reason why pressure
All right.
gets different as it goes up. But we're calling it puller from now on.
What does that change? Where are we at now?
But, I mean, you don't even. You don't like gravity being a pull thing,
Sorry,
do you?
sorry,
You like
so what you're
gravity.
saying is,
You
Dawn,
like
gravity.
pushing
sorry,
force.
let me
Some of you
just
call
wanna
it
clar-
downward
Dawn,
pushing
I'm gonna
force.
Dawn, I just
So
need to
why-
clarify your
why can't
position.
that be the reason?
Dawn. I just need to clarify your position, if I may. So your position is that in order for your argument to make sense, you literally want to redefine the word pressure to puller. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying, would you like to do that?
No, I'm not the Oxford Dictionary. No, I don't
Okay.
get to redefine what words mean.
I agree that it's weird. Pressure means pressing down. So I'm not a
Sorry,
scientist.
where
I don't
does
know
it, what do you mean pressing down?
What's pressing?
Sorry,
make the pressure.
what do you mean pressing down? Why have you now introduced this word down?
Okay, pressing in any direction.
We're just pressing.
Apply force.
Pressing on something. Yeah, are you finding?
As a
Is it
verb,
starting to sink in,
pressure means
Dawn?
apply force.
It's pressing on something. And do you know what that thing would be? It would be the necessary antecedent that I assert. That would be a container. Something to press on. Yeah, that's why I assert, as P. Mars thinks I'm a liar and deceiving people because it's not true, that when you say the word pressure, it means to
Could I
press
share
on
you the-
something. And that means that when I say the necessary antecedent is a container, that's an absolute fact.
Nathan, could I share with you the definition of pressure? And
I don't
show you
need
that it
a
doesn't include the
fuckwit
word
to share the
pressing in it.
definition that
Just
you've just
includes
Googled.
applying a
No.
force.
Thank you, Dawn. Please spare me from your Google search.
Could you cite me where pressure means to press?
No. I don't want to educate you any further. I am sick of you. You've only been here for 5 minutes.
I'm going to share it anyway. So, continuous physical force exerted on or against an object. Right? The use of persuasion or intimidation.
Let's just ask you the question then. Now you've read the definition. Does a vacuum count as an object, or would you consider it a lower pressure system as opposed to an object to press upon?
No, I'm saying it doesn't have to be pressed on.
You've just read the oh my god!
It could be a
pulling
force.
Right? You drive me nuts. You literally got me twitching. I don't know how you do it.
Your bullshit in like layman's terms. That's why.
Yeah, it needs something to press on. You've just read the definition. You got to be trolling. You got to be winding me up, right? People aren't this dumb. Come on, God, tell me people aren't this dumb.
It needs nothing to press on.
You just read the definition. Oh my god.
I can show them. So if you look at pressure and noun and then verb. Synonyms: coerce, pressurize, put pressure on, press.
Oh, so one word in that whole definition.
So definition is synonyms.
That's how all definitions work.
Synonyms.
Okay, it's not even the definition.
Synonyms mean the same thing. That's what
it does mean. It does mean pressing.
Yeah, it does mean. It can't it? I can press on the desk and apply pressure.
Pressure is like when you're standing outside. It's the weight.
I could put a suction on the desk and apply pressure from the suction, right? That's pulling force.
Sorry, there's no pool in this definition.
If you swim to the bottom of a pool, you have the water pressure is the weight of the water is pressing on your body. Or like in the atmosphere, you can describe it as like a press. Yeah. So Nathan's right about that, but he's wrong about that.
So how does that lead you guys to you're being pulled on it? You get all these perfect definitions of pressure, like, but it's being pulled on.
It's more evidence of gravity, right? Because there's more pressure closer to Earth.
Pressure. It's more evidence of buoyancy,
it's more evidence of a downward force.
Yeah, but you guys think it's a downward force from your feet. It's from your head down. What? You think you're being pulled to the earth versus being pressed to the earth.
Okay, so you want to call it a pushing force now, which would explain the pressure even more if we're going with Nathan's definition of pressure. If it's a pushing force.
Not my definition of pressure.
Like a pressing force, right? Pressing down on the pressure.
Yeah. So that would be it would be like you're being pushed on from the top, being pressed.
Nathan was just arguing that pressure needs something pressing on it, and you're arguing there's a pressing force. Pressing down. Like you're arguing against Nathan, kind of.
No, I'm arguing with Nathan. Pushing
but you're arguing for a pressing force, where he's saying we need a pressing force.
That is what he's saying.
Yeah, you're very confused in this conversation right now.
So what? But
I'm confused. I don't know how anyone can follow what's going on right now.
Oh, right. Well, that's no worries. I can bring it right back on track. You morons think that rather than gas pressure pressing on something, it can press on a 10 to the minus 17 lower pressure system. You nuts. That's the problem. That's what we point out daily. Yeah, you can't have pressure without it pressing on something. You think that it just dissipates into a fucking vacuum. That's because you're all morons who've been deceived. Very difficult for you guys to accept that, I know.
Right? When we measure it, it seems to dissipate.
Yes,
upwards.
The pressure gets lower and lower and lower, but it doesn't mean it suddenly doesn't need to press on something, Dawn. That's the 4th time I've told this to you. Okay, in the last 10 minutes.
I understand.
Yeah, so it gets less and less. Lower. Let's just say it once more. Let's just say it for Dawn. Because I don't want to see this shit asserted in comments again. I don't want to hear it on the panel regurgitated like some baller asshole, Dawn, that I know you don't want to be. No, you're just affected by them because they're poison. Yeah? I know you're just regurgitating their arguments because they've told you that this is true, right? That
I believe it. It's my belief.
But that's what they've told you, isn't it, Dawn? Now I'm taking a giant shit on it. Even though they've told you it's true, they've lied to you, Dawn. No. They're wrong, Dawn. And I'm telling you now, while you can just about bear to keep your mouth shut long enough to hear it for the 5th time, that just because it's getting less when you go higher doesn't suddenly mean it doesn't need to press on something. Even though you've been told that by your baller friends, in quotes. Because they're not your friends. They're deceiving you, Dawn. They know you're a little bit more stupid than them and that they can fool you by telling you that it suddenly stops needing to press on something because it gets less as you go up. Well,
no,
I'm in Dawn. Hold on, Dawn. I'm not quite done berating you. So good for you, Dawn. You're stupid enough to be deceived by people that are smarter than you. I'm trying to help you by pointing out where they've lied. Now, like P, you can claim that I'm the one lying, or you can accept that these people that have told you that nonsense, the nonsense I've just taken a giant shit on, you can go and tell them that they've lied to you. Why did you deceive me?
Sorry, you haven't taken a shit. You've just said it doesn't mean the final step. Even though I've seen the fade all the way, it might not be white at the end.
Have you now, Dawn? Let's see it. Show me.
Even though it gets slowly darker at night, it might not ever go fully dark.
You've just told me you've seen
never
the
know
gas
it go
pressure.
fully dark, even though we've seen it go nearly dark.
Dawn, stop. You've just made an assertion. That doesn't just slip under my radar. You've seen it dissipate from gas pressure to vacuum. You've seen it grade all the way. Correct, Dawn?
No, I've seen enough to infer. And
Oh, you haven't seen it then, you lying sack of globe-tired piece of shit. So you're going to ignore my point and take an inference over my giant dump that I've taken on the lies you've been told by Glober assholes who are out to deceive you, Dawn. Now, I'm not out to deceive you, Dawn. I'm being absolutely factually accurate when I say the meaning of the word fucking pressure doesn't change because some globe heads told you it does.
Okay,
It still needs... See, you can't help yourself, Dawn. Eternally stupid. Try and remember these words when you leave this hangout, Dawn. You will remain eternally stupid because you talk when you should listen.
What do you think happens at the top then?
We don't care.
When the pressure gets much lower.
Who cares? It will still be pressure and need to press on something. I don't know what's
So you
up
just
there.
think it's an
Dawn,
infinite
I'm answering
always
you,
some
Dawn.
pressure.
I'm trying to answer you, but you're a retard. I've already explained this to you. I know you won't get that you're a retard and should listen when you talk.
I think I'd buy in less if you weren't so angry.
Yeah, well, I despise stupid people, Dawn. I despise you right now. You're literally making me twitch with how unbelievably stupid you are. Because after 5 times of explaining to you that gas pressure doesn't stop needing to press because it gets less at the top, despite globeheads telling you that, you're still interrupting me while I try and get it out at least once without you opening your retarded mouth over the top of it. Now, so far, 6 attempts, literally not once have you managed to keep your mouth shut for the entirety of my dump that I will take on the assertion that gas pressure stops needing to press because it gets less going up. That's a dump I'm taking on the lies you've been told and you've accepted, Dawn. There is no inference that the meaning of pressure changes. That's just a lie you've been told by assholes who believe in a globe.
Can I go now quick? But do you think it just keeps going, slowly less and less pressure, but never a vacuum? It's still some
repeat
pressure.
your answer to this dick that doesn't listen to you either.
What do you think there's, what is it? Does it slowly get less pressure, but there's still some, and then a barrier?
I was expecting Arwen to say it. We don't know, and we're not making any assertions here. You assert...
Oh, that's what you would say, Nick.
You would say that there's a vacuum of space, though, wouldn't you, Dawn? With
I
all the
believe
satellites
there
and
is, yeah.
spaceships and Mars, right? That's what you think. Right. I
believe
don't
Mars
know
is
what's
up
up there,
there.
Dawn. I don't make any claims about what's up there. However, I know implicitly that pressure still needs to press, despite you thinking there's a vacuum of space, which is a second law of thermodynamics violation.
Look, it's all about... Look, down. It's all about comparing the total volumes, okay? Look at what the supposed volume, roughly, of the Earth's atmosphere is going to be, and then compare that to the entirety of outer space, right? And there might be a low pressure there, but just the sheer volume, comparing it, it's going to find an equilibrium. It's going to find an equilibrium, and then after the equilibrium in the entire universe has been found with all the gases, then potentially gravity from rocks or whatever, if you suppose that that works that way, might attract a little bit more gas pressure to these balls floating in the outer gas, because it's not going to be outer space anymore.
And with that slightly less than concise explanation from Arwen, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the audience in my second channel, Nathan Oakley, for tuning in and hopefully sharing this premiere of the after show. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this after show possible. If you hated the show, then smash the dislike button, but then smash it again. But if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. Now, in a few moments, hopefully if I've timed this correctly and this has gone out at the right time today, there should be a live debate starting on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel in a little over an hour's time. Once again, I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!